Hello family. I want to give you a story on how I was arrested on my birthday. I remember very well, it was 2018, July 8th. At the time of my arrest, I was being accused of being part of a gang that had eliminated a prominent businessman here in Nairobi. It was very painful, my good people. But before we proceed, I want to give you 5 seconds to subscribe to my YouTube channel and be part of the storytelling family that we've built around the world. Take your time.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Again, my name is Socrates. I'm a voice broadcaster as well as an African YouTuber living here in Nairobi, Kenya. So I remember that evening, myself together with my girlfriend Kendi, we were at our bedsitter. We used to live in a very tiny bedsitter back in Lakisama Estate, for those of you who are familiar with the environments of Nairobi town. It was yet another evening, though it was my birthday, but being just the beginning of the month, we had opted not to do any kind of birthday party or any invites or anything of that kind. That's because our budgets were not as flexible, my people. So we said that we were going to be patient, and then by the end of that month, when we would be having some salary, a little amount of money to spare, then we would bake a cake, do some little food, and invite a few friends over so that, you know, we can have some decent birthday for myself. And therefore the evening was just a slow one, just relaxing in the house. So at around 7 p.m., I remember my girlfriend Kendi excused herself. She wanted to visit the local chemist to get some medicines, some tablets for her ulcers. I was at my computer workstation, you know, filing some reports for work, so that the following morning I had some presentations to make at my workplace. So everything was cool. So at around 7:10 p.m., I had a very loud bang on the door, and I didn't give a hoot about it because then I thought it was my girlfriend Kendi playing games on me as usual. And therefore, when the bangs persisted, I went to the front door, and when I opened, 3 uniformed police officers pushed their way into my little bedsitter. And they asked me, "Hey, are you Socrates?" And I was like, "Yes." They told me that I was under arrest for the murder of a gentleman, a businessman known as Ahmed, and they gave me my rights. And definitely part of my rights were the right to a lawyer. You can imagine, here I was with my girlfriend. We could not even afford a birthday party. How on planet Earth was I going to afford a lawyer? So they handcuffed me, and they told me that I had the right to remain silent. Whatever I was going to say there was going to be used against me in a court of law, and that I was to accompany them to Ruaraka police station, just next to Lakisama Estate. My people, do not even begin to imagine how shocked and disoriented I was at that particular moment in time. I pleaded with them. I told them, "Hey, my girlfriend has just stepped out to get her meds. Kindly let me call her so that she can, you know, accompany me to the police station so that, you know, we can know what's up." Because honestly, I didn't know why I was being arrested. I didn't know what murder was. That was one hell of an accusation that evening. So I tried calling Kendi's phone. Unfortunately for me, she had forgotten her phone at the house, so it was just ringing at the table. So these gentlemen, these police officers, hounded me out of the house. You know, I was still handcuffed. Neighbors were like, "What's the commotion?" You can imagine the embarrassment that evening. So we went downstairs, and their car was down there. These people were very rough on me. They were like, "You're the kind of people who are thugs disturbing people in rural Nairobi. You are going to, you know, pinpoint some of the gang members that you target and eliminate businessmen in this city. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? Is this a case of mistaken identity? And they were like, no, you are Socrates. We know you. You work here and you are just a gangster by night and a corporate person by day. So let's go so that you can begin to face the hands of the law. I knew better not to resist arrest. I knew better not to exchange words with armed police officers. I tried to remain as calm as I could. So I was hounded into their waiting car, and we began driving towards Ruaraka police station. At this moment in time, I don't want to tell you that I was okay. I was completely out of touch with reality. My heart was beating. I thought of my mother back at home. I thought of my two lovely sisters back at home. But most importantly was Candy. By now, she should have gone back to the house and realized that I'm missing so that she's able to call me. But no call came from my girlfriend, Candy. And therefore, after what seemed to be a 10 to 12 minutes drive, we got to Ruaraka police station. The car drove into the station. I could see clearly Ruaraka police station, though it was a little bit at night. And therefore, we parked at their parking lot, and two of the police officers who had arrested me jumped out, and I was left with two. One was the driver, and one was seated with me at the back of that particular police patrol car. I remember very well, they kept on telling me, boss, leo utaongea. Today you are going to spill the beans on who you work with, where you get your guns, who arms you, who facilitates this ring of people and all that. And I was like, what are you people talking about? These police officers were so sure of what they were telling me. And for myself, I was completely out of touch with reality. So we began waiting. I was like, why are we not going into the police station to record statement and all that? Because when those other two police officers left, they gave very clear instructions to these other ones not to let me unattended, not to let me out of their sight. So I was in a very bad situation. But my worst worry and worst concern was, why was my girlfriend Candy not calling? Yet I could still feel I had my phone in my pocket. Almost 25 minutes after my dramatic arrest back in the house. I played it cool. I thought that maybe she didn't have airtime, or maybe she was looking for me, or anything of that particular kind. So after what seemed to be 10 minutes, the other two police officers came back. And this time they came back, one of them was particularly angry at me. So angry and so, pissed off, annoyed, and, he was like, you are going to produce the people who killed Ahmed. So when he said Ahmed, my brother, I realized that Ahmed could have been his brother. And he was like, if I don't speak at that particular point in time, they were going to take me somewhere else. And I heard him say in Swahili that I cannot escape justice by just being taken into a police cell and taken to court the following day. They have to find another way of me producing other members of the gang that had apparently killed his brother Ahmed. And therefore I heard him say, twendeni Ngong Hills, I'm going to make him talk and give us the information we need. My people, when you are being driven to Ngong Hills at night by 3 armed police officers, you can only imagine what's going to happen there. I knew Ngong Hills had a very bad history of human torture. These people are going to torture me to talk. And sadly for me, I was going to speak about something I don't know. I was going to give names of people I can only imagine about. I died so many times that evening. I was like, can a case of mistaken identity be this brutal? And why was I a target? The car drove out of Ruaraka police station, and he made it very clear that, boss, before we get to Ngong Hills is only 30 minutes drive from Nairobi. Speak, talk right now, give names of the people who killed my brother Ahmed. Because when we get to Ngong Hills, we can almost swear that no one will find your body. At that particular point, I remember one particular police officer who was seated next to me at the car, threw a blindfold across my eyes. And therefore, beginning at that point, I could see nothing, my good people, nothing. The car drove, and they kept on the threats. Occasionally, I would be, slapped on the head and, talk. Occasionally, I would feel something like the back of a gun being, dug into my stomach, being coerced to speak. It was very painful. And that particular point in time, I just wanted to die, because then what was I supposed to tell these police officers? I do not know any Ahmed who had been killed. I do not know gangsters who operate in Nairobi. I was an innocent records keeper in a real estate company. I was new to this crime thing in Nairobi. They would not hear any of that, my good people. The car kept on going, the threats kept on coming, and what seemed to be, after 20 minutes, the car came to a stop. So I said no, Ngong Hills cannot be that near, because then the drive is always around 30 minutes. But we had spent 20 minutes driving. And I could hear the guy who was seated in front of the passenger seat of the car saying, hey, get this Socrates out of this car and hold him very well. Do not remove his blindfold. I'm about to make him talk. My good people, I knew my time to vacate this good old earth had come. I was in the hands of rogue police officers. I was being forced to talk about things that honestly I did not know of. I was hounded out of the car very roughly, and I would feel that we were walking on some pavement. At this point, I was really worried. It was almost 45 minutes after my dramatic arrest back at my house in Lucky Summer. My girlfriend Kendi had not called. Was she okay? But most importantly, what was happening? It was not a dream. It was really, really happening. I could recount everything of that evening. So when we began walking, I could hear the police, the boots, and they were walking. And then it's like we got into something that seemed like a building. I'm still blindfolded, scared. I'd peed on my trousers. I was in a very bad state. And then we walked into something that seemed like a lift. And when we walked into that lift, one of the police officers even covered my mouth. They was in gloves. He covered my mouth so that I would not scream. And I would feel a metal. When I was standing inside the lift, I would feel a metal on my tummy. So I thought that was a gun barrel, so that in any case I had attempted to dare scream, they would, they release their bullets on me. I dared not utter a word. I dared not make a sound. The lift came to a stop. I could not, enumerate how many floors we had, covered. But I remember when the lift came to a stop and it opened, though I was still in a blindfold, the room that we walked in was well lit from the perception I had even before the blindfold was removed. So after around 3 seconds of, bewilderment and standing, and I'm like, where am I? Am I in a torture chamber? Or where am I that, seems to have a lot of light? I started hearing a lot of claps. And it's at that moment, my people, that my blindfold was removed. And right in front of me were all my friends. My girlfriend Kendi was standing right in the middle of them, and they were clapping and singing happy birthday, surprise, and my cake was right there, blissfully written, happy birthday, Socrates, have a belated 25.